Hi everyone, Sarah Pacaro, rapid transformational therapist. I love educating about narcissistic abuse. I've experienced it in my past with multiple people and have now broken free from this, and I love helping others go on their journey. So today we're going to talk about 13 things, unsettling things that narcissists will do when they think that no one is looking. So you may often have wondered if you've spent any kind of time in a relationship with a narcissist, there's likely come a time where you've developed this burning desire to know what is it they do when we're not together. Because you're often finding out about these things later after the relationship has ended, and you're looking back on it going, oh my God, or you go through their things and then you find out about the things that they were lying about, because they lie about everything that they do, all their other forms of supply. So what is it that they do behind your back? What are some of these unsettling things? Because they're not going to come out and openly admit it. They rarely admit to anything at all. But what if your worst fears regarding the relationship are just playing out underneath this radar of your awareness? Kind of creepy. So this vague, the sense of dread that you have, that feeling in the pit of your stomach, wondering, are they lying? Are they telling the truth? The gaslighting, and you're feeling like you're going crazy because you know that that's not what happened, and you know that's not what they said or what you said. That's your intuition, and it causes these physical sensations in your body. These gut feelings are there for a reason. I just had an extremely powerful RTT session, and that was our focus on why she went against her gut intuition. Phenomenal. And it's a very, very common thing that you do when you're in a relationship with a narcissist. You get these feelings, that those red flags that you see. So your gut is called your second brain, and it's called that for a reason, because it is there to guide you. It kind of works independently from the brain in your head as that second brain, and it's the center of neural activity. So there's a lot of research on it that shows, you can read about it, but here's a breakdown. Here's a breakdown of why you go against that intuition, that gut feeling, and these things that the narcissist does behind your back that give you that quirky feeling in your stomach. So they employ specific techniques that they think when no one's looking. So you'll notice they have these hidden secrets, and when you find out about them, they literally bring you to your knees. I just had a conversation with a woman yesterday about the things that her narcissist, they're still married, has done. And I mean, she was literally whispering to me the things that he has done. They are just unspeakable, some of these things. So what do they do when they think that you're not looking? Well, first of all, they go through your personal things. They are constantly doing things that they will eventually be confronted with. Therefore, they spend so much time digging up the most minuscule piece of incriminating evidence against you, so that when they're confronted with what they've done, they can immediately say, oh yeah, well you did this, and they have this ammunition to use against you when they are finally caught. So they're constantly going through your stuff, like it or believe it or not, they are. And many times when they find these incriminating little things, this figment of their imagination, they fabricate these things, and they will accuse you of doing the very thing that they are doing. So long story short, they are very, very sneaky. They're very underhanded. In many cases, they think that other people are like them. They're just better at hiding it, or thinking that they're hiding it. So that thing that they promised you they would stop doing, they're still doing. So expect the shady practice of them going through your stuff, even though they're like, I don't care what you do, it's fine. They're going through your stuff so that they can use it against you when you call them out on what they're doing. The second thing, you'll notice that because their constant need for supply, they're master cheaters, and they lie about cheating. So many people that I talk to say, oh, I found different fake profiles, different dating websites. They've gone on Craigslist. They've even caught them hooking up with people. I had a woman share a story with me about her partner and husband getting beat up, and she even took time off of work and she went to the hospital to be with him. He completely got beat up. He said that there was an altercation at the gas station. Well, it turns out he was sleeping with another woman, and that woman's husband came home and beat the crap out of him. So they constantly lie about this, and they do this. So you notice they'll create numerous dating profiles that you see them on Tinder or Plenty of Fish or Ashley Madison. They don't care if the women they sleep with are married or not. Not all narcissists cheat, but a big majority of them do. So you'll notice that they just like it. They like getting that supply from other people. And even if they're sleeping with you still, very common to have something funky going on downstairs because you're not the only one that they're sleeping with. They love the attention, the admiration. They love being the center of attention. And it's very likely that they're doing things that you would be horrified to learn about. I couldn't believe what I heard yesterday. I could believe it. I just sat there going, Because to them, seducing other people is a tool for manipulation. It's a tool for control, for exploitation, to destroying the self-esteem of their partners. And in most cases, serial cheating is a part of this withholding affection that we've talked about before. Degrading requests. There's verbal assaults, like addiction to this supply, and they get this through cheating, through sleeping with many, many people. They're very, very skilled in the bedroom. Most of them. A lot of people will say, oh, why would you leave the narcissistic relationship? Oh my gosh, the sex is so good. And they've never had it so good. So this creates this very twisted dynamic that leads to self-loathing, to guilt, to shame. Especially when you catch them cheating, they have a track record of being serial cheaters. And this explains why oftentimes their cell phones are on lockdown, or even if you look at it, they go off in a narcissistic rage. They leave the room when certain calls come in. My ex used to sit in his truck to take all of his calls, and it was like I would literally see him come home, be staring out the window, and he's on the phone, and I'm like, who are you talking to? Oh, just a buddy. Okay, well, you can come in. Why couldn't you just talk to your buddy inside? Oh, because, and vomit of all this word salad of the reason and the excuses of why they couldn't just take the call in front of you. Well, it's because they were hiding something. They were lying. And don't be fooled. When you catch them, they will try to earn your trust back. They will make reasons, excuses, say they're going to get help. They will let you go through their phone, but in reality, all they're doing is just deleting. They're deleting these apps, they're deleting the conversations, the messages, and it will feel weird. You'll get that gut feeling that you're onto something, so don't ignore your gut on this one. The third thing that you will notice they do is they try to go through your social media. I would sometimes get the most random messages years after the relationship ended, where my Instagram was public, and he would go through my followers and ask me, who is this person? Who is this person? Who is this person? So they're going to try to go through your social media. They're going to try to do it with Facebook. They're going to try to do it with Instagram. And they're going to see photos of you or pictures of you or ask you, why did this person like this post? Who's this person who commented? Is that some dude that you're... And they're going to put it on you. I've never talked to anyone else while we were together, but look at you. And it's like, oh my God, that's actually not the way it is at all. That's person and friend. But moral of the story, the narcissist is never going to be a decent person, ever. They're going to go through your stuff. They're going to create different profiles. They are going to break you down and destroy you in many, many ways. Another thing they're going to do when you're not looking is triangulate. They're going to try to turn your family against you, your friends against you. So this smear campaign doesn't begin just after a breakup. In many cases, the smear campaign has been alive for a very long time. You just haven't been aware of it. And the reason is because they are constantly trying to get other people against you. So they assume, my ex used to do this all the time, that in your social circle, if you do have any friends anymore, that all you do when you hang out with your friends is just sit around and talk about how horrible of a person they are. So they're just, because they have such a low sense of self-worth and belief, they think that anytime you do go out with your friends, the entire conversation is about them because they think the world revolves around them. So, because of that belief that all you do is go out and talk about them, they are doing that to you, even while the relationship is going, even if it hasn't ended yet. So they assume that you're venting to people, and they start to vent to people about how horrible you are. They get a running start on assassinating and annihilating your character and who you are. And why they do this is because they are trying to preserve this false image that they have portrayed all along. And it sucks because unfortunately they're very successful at doing this. So if you notice that people maybe you were once friends with have started pulling back, or they start questioning your judgment, or saying, I don't see it that way, chances are the narcissist has already started planting these little seeds of doubt in their mind and playing themselves as the victim and you as the crazy one. So if suddenly you're like, wait a minute, I thought you had my back. Like, say that you're married and it's, co-friends or co-friendship. They've probably already gotten to them because they've started the smear campaign. And that is one thing that they do behind your back. A next thing they do, I don't know if I ever had this, but I hear it all the time, is that they plant spyware on your devices. They'll put cameras in the home, or they'll put like some kind of software you can download on your phone. It's kind of scary and creepy. So this can happen in a couple of different ways. So if you're dealing with a narcissist, don't assume that they aren't smart enough to track you down using your devices. It's so easy to do these days, especially with phones and technology, like the Find Your Phone. I know on Snapchat, I don't use Snapchat, but there used to be like, and it's kind of automatically, like your little avatar shows your location. I don't know, like I said, I don't quite have 100% proof in my experience of this, but I have come home before to have him say, how was blah, blah, blah? And my stomach dropped. I was like, what? How did you know I was there? Like, in my mind, I didn't say that because I just felt like I was going to throw up, but it was like, how'd you know I was there? And so, like, the feeling of there being a tracker on your car or cameras in your house, or they have other people, I don't know, you guys, they use software to put cameras or a cloud accounts. So it's difficult to really protect yourself because there's so many ways, and they hone into these ways to track you and to know where you are and what you're doing. So one thing, I had a phone that my other account was on, a number I had for 15 years, and then we got on the same phone plan, and he actually will send me emails and say, I voluntarily paid for this phone. You guys, that's sick, but that's what they do. They track you from different ways. So most spyware or programs are designed to not only track your location, but monitor your calls, your voicemails, your texts, your emails, even when you're not using the camera on your device. And they do this, they hone into this. It's creepy and crazy, but it's what narcissists do when you're not looking. So know that. The next thing that they will do, you'll notice they sabotage your finances. This is huge because when they've got you financially, they've got you. Because we need money to live. That's just end of the day, moral of the story. You need money to live. And they will try to make you feel like they support you and they're working on things, and let's just start a business together. I have so many clients who had a business with their ex-narcissist, and it is very scary to get out because they go and they open up other accounts in the business. Maybe you have joint accounts, you have homes together. They love getting enmeshed with you because it makes it harder. Maybe you've loaned them money. This is my experience in the past. In the beginning of the relationship, when they start to discard and devalue you, and then, oh my God, they run into the situation, you're an empathetic, loving person. You say, here, I trust you to pay this back. You guys, in both relationships, I've gotten in over $15,000 of debt because I trusted what they said, and they said, yeah, I'll pay you back. This is part of this scheme that they ask for your support, maybe while they're unemployed or while they're between things, and they promise to pay you back. And in a financial situation, they will do horrible things. They'll get loans in your names. Maybe if you have a home, they'll take a second mortgage out without your knowledge. I've had this experience before. They refinance things. They don't pay IRS taxes. They expect you to pay for everything. This is huge. They expect you to pay for everything while they save the money for themselves. And they force you to get maybe utilities in your name, insurances in your name, so that when it comes down to it, I even had this experience with the health insurance being in my name, with paperwork that was forged, signatures that were forged with my name on them, so that you start getting the financial bills. And it just keeps you triangulated with them. So if you're wondering what they're doing behind your back, that is one of them. They are financially destroying you in a lot of cases. So you'll notice, I've even had this before, you start to receive statements to things, even after the relationship is over, you start to receive statements to your address or other family members' addresses. I've had my family members get calls in regards to an ex-narcissist, and they're like, Sarah, what, do you know anything about this? I'm like, oh my God, are you kidding me? No. So to prevent this financial abuse, if you're still in the relationship, you guys begin saving money, stashing away money, get your own secret account so that when you leave, you have that and you're not completely in a deficit. Number 8, next thing they will do behind your back is spy on you. We've already covered like the spyware, the tracking apps that the abusers use to keep tabs on you, but you will notice that many narcissists will literally stalk you. They will see what you're doing when you're not with them, who you're with, where you're going, what you're doing. This is very scary and creepy, and they don't always come out and tell you about it, but these behaviors are intended to frighten or distress the victim or instill this sense of guilt and hopelessness that they will never be able to break free from the narcissist or move on. A lot of people I work with constantly share, like, I have this feeling like I constantly need to be looking over my shoulder. Many of them will break into your home when you're not home, when you are home. It's very scary. The stalking behaviors and harassments, this intimidation, even though sometimes when the relationship is over, the behavior is not over. They will continue to do this, whether it's in person, they monitor you. Stalking is a form of mental assault, and it's where the perpetrator repeatedly, unwantedly, disruptively breaks into the life of the victim, of whom they with either had a past relationship or current relationship. So it is important to file, get documentation for that, get injunctions of harassment, get cases, document it, you guys. It's not something that can just go like, don't ignore it, I guess is what I'm saying. So the constant text, the phone calls, the harassments, you'll notice that they will send you cards, they'll send you flowers after they've stalked you, or as part of the stalking behaviors. They'll constantly drive by, they'll be sending you gifts, the love bombing phase. They'll show up at your job, they'll show up at your favorite place that you hang out, as they're spreading rumors about you on social media, as they're stalking you, as they're using all these devices to threaten you. They threaten your family, they threaten your pets. Guys, crazy. The stalking, this hoovering is a source of supply that it expresses its desire to end the relationship, but they refuse to give up their power by forcing themselves into your world through harassing, following, monitoring, and stalking. So it's a very common behavior, especially when the source of supply, the victim, tries to initiate and go no contact, because they don't like that at all. So what they're doing behind your back is stalking. Another thing you'll notice that they're doing behind your back is flirting with other people, maybe your best friends. When it comes to them cheating, no one is off limits. So in fact, narcissists often derive this very twisted sense of accomplishments if they can get your loved ones interested in them. All the time, all the people on my social media, he would tell me follow him, and they love it. And they love to get in with them. If they can get your best friend or a family member or someone in your circle to start to follow them, it's very, very sick, but sometimes even adult children, they love this. It's just like, oh my God. And you'll notice that they keep this flirting and this like well, this is kind of weird. Why are you talking to them like that? They're my best friend. So that's another thing that they're doing behind your back. Then never ever trust the narcissist alone with your family, your friends, because they're triangulating them. They're trying to get them to come be a part of their supply chain. So you'll notice something else they do behind your back is plan rendezvous with their side supply. So when they're giving you the silent treatment, they are not being silent. They are going out of town. They're planning trips. They're doing other things for their other forms of supply. There's a strong likelihood that they are out there doing all the things they tell you they're not doing with other people. So they are creatures of economy. They rarely pass on opportunities to groom supply. They never pass on opportunities actually to groom supply. In fact, they're very well dubbed. They've got supply everywhere. And these work trips that they constantly go on and then don't come home on time from, yeah, maybe they're work trips, but don't be surprised when the new supply calls you or you find out about them and you call them and ask them what they were doing. And voila, it has been revealed to you that this work trip was, in fact, a pleasure trip. So another thing you'll notice they do behind your back is hoover. They're constantly hoovering old sources of supply, aka their exes. So they don't let their exes go. If you're an ex now, you know this. They're constantly hoovering you. Unless the exes completely let go of them, that's different. But a lot of them, just like you may have, go back and forth. You're on and off with them. So they literally cannot help themselves. They will reach out to try to resurrect old relationships with their exes, even if it's a one-sided one. They want to know what their ex has been up to, and sometimes out of the blue. I have a client who has been divorced from her ex-narcissist after 20 years. He got married and divorced to someone else, and then after he got divorced from that other person, came back to her, and she was like, "Are you kidding me? It's been 20 years." So this may explain why you notice and feel like the narcissist asks and wants to remain friends. Let's just be friends. They want to be friends with their exes. There's no being friends. When the relationship is ended, it's ended. You move on. They're doing that so they can keep you in their supply chain. What else they do when you're not looking is they pave the way for the next relationship. You've probably heard this 100 times or read or experienced 100 times, how they leave a relationship and then they swan dive right into the next one. They don't take the time to be alone, to heal, to be with themselves. No, boom, just like that, in another relationship, in another marriage, and you're left thinking, we were together for this many years. How can you just move on like that? How can you just go get into another relationship and be married? And then you think, I didn't mean anything to them. I raised their kids. I did everything for them. I literally gave 100% of me to them, and they just moved on to another person. The main reason this happens is because they don't bond with people. Not romantically, not traumatically, or morally. They don't bond with them. They are unable to form emotional bonds due to their lack of empathy and inability to attach to others, so they never felt connected to you. So another reason why they're able to form relationships so quickly is that because many times, this is going to suck to hear, but it's the truth, that relationship is not a new one. To you, you think, wow, they just jumped right into a new relationship. It was not a new relationship. It had been going on for a long time. So even when your relationship ends and they jump into another one and you think it's new, it's not new. They are perpetually at various stages of relationships with all kinds of people. So there's the shiny newbie, and then there's the people who are in different levels of the relationship. So when the relationship ends and all of a sudden on social media they're showcasing how happy they are in this new relationship, it's not someone that they've just met. They're very skilled though at making it appear that it is. And so the last thing we'll talk about is the other thing that they do behind your back, the emotional abuse of partners and spouses. So if you've ended a relationship with a narcissist, you probably saw them out and about, like loving up on this new partner, seemingly having the best time of your life. Well, they just ended the most horrible time of your life. Now all of a sudden they're seemingly having the best time of your life. So maybe you see them flashing an engagement ring with this new person on social media, or sending out like save the dates, and they're so giggly about how in love they are. Your first reaction may be, no wonder. This person has everything I don't. This person is everything that I never was for them. And I don't know, maybe the narcissist was right about me all along. I am all those things that they said I am. Or perhaps you feel like you're the reason the relationship didn't work out, and you feel completely disabled and unable to face the narcissist, maybe their new supply. You have to, though, because you have kids together, and so you go into a deep depression and you feel like you can barely make it through the day. This is another level and layer of the narcissistic abuse cycle, and it applies to you the same way it does to everyone else. The narcissist you know is no different from the others. It's very personal and unique, and it feels like it's only happening to you, and you feel that it's alone. But it is so critical when you are experiencing this to know that it is not you, and do not take it personally. This is one of their favorite times. It's so much fun to them when they are love bombing the new supply while simultaneously making you feel like discarded trash. They can't help but gloat over how they're able to make you feel emotionally destroyed and left to pick up the pieces while they are off living this magical, beautiful life as though, with another person, as though your history never meant anything to them. So, know that, you guys, there are no exceptions to this, that what you were thinking about is this new supply is going to be subject to the same kind of emotional abuse that you have endured. It's who they are, it's what they do. I promise you they're not treating the new person better, because they are not a different person, so they can't treat anyone differently. So know that there are no exception to this rule. Narcissists abuse everyone, regardless of their status, their ethnicity, their intelligence, their religion, or whatever it is. Their new supply will not be spared, unfortunately. And that has nothing to do with you. If you've been with a relationship with a narcissist, there's no such thing as a sometimes narcissist, only and always narcissist. And these are a lot of the things that they are going to do, are doing, have done, will do behind your back. So it's so important to get out. If you can, go no contact. If you can't, then you have kids together. Parallel parent, co-parenting is very difficult with a narcissist, so try your best to parallel parent. And then before you swan dive into another relationship, really work on healing yourself from within. Break those subconscious beliefs and patterns. Start listening to yourself, trusting yourself again, believing in yourself, following your intuition. If you have a hard time doing that, that's what I can help you with. So I hope that this helps you know and understand what they're doing behind your back. They're not taking a break and thinking about all the things that they did to hurt you. I promise you. Thank you, guys. Hope you have a beautiful weekend, Saturday. Know that I'm here for you. I love you all, support you, and believe in you. And you are enough.